A very good morning to all my dear trading friends. At the moment, everything is going according to plan. Well, almost everything. Unfortunately, Bitcoin just barely missed triggering my short entry. I talked about this yesterday in the live stream. I should have adjusted my Fibonacci. I mean, I'm still extremely long, as you know. That's my long-term Fibonacci level. For those of you who might be new to the channel, take a look. Down there was my entry price, which I used for myself, the 0.5 Fibonacci, so I could say I'm going in maximally long from a long-term perspective. That's also included in my strategy. In the short term, I want to take advantage of the market again, just like we've done in the past. Long, short, so that we can really make the most of as many market moves as possible. And that's exactly what I'm planning to do again right now. In this case, unfortunately, my short entry was here at the 0.5 Fibonacci. My plan here is to keep my long position open, currently still without a stop loss. But here, because of the bearish structure we have moving downward, I see an opportunity. We might go down again, have a small recovery. I take profits and then we move up. I also want to show this with Ethereum, where everything worked out very well. Because now you can see we're currently trying to form a bullish structure here. And I was expecting this recovery so that I could say we go down here and then might see higher prices again. And possibly also a recovery at this 0.618 level so that we then form a bullish price structure. That's what my plan currently looks like. The problem is that my short entry was previously based on a different Fibonacci, namely the really high one here. That didn't quite work out, and I've now deleted this short position here as well. It was actually up here, just barely, but I still have the second one, the 0.786, which is up here. I'm still keeping that one open. But I will also be managing this one for myself now. That means I'm going back to this Fibonacci level, and now I know I want to go short again at 109,506.2, so I'll be adjusting my position here as well. 109,506.2, where the current Fibonacci was almost triggered. I'll leave it adjusted like this for now and of course hope that it gets triggered, assuming things continue as I expect. That means this short setup has been cancelled for now. We still have a gap below us, which I also see as very likely to be filled, the CME gap, so that we can pick it up here at around 104,174 and possibly find support there as well, based on the breakout we had. We can see it here, this candle support from before, and as for the short position, I'm keeping it active because I believe that if we move up, we'll see a continuation of the price action, which allows me to realize profits each time with small short hedge positions, while my long position down here currently remains without a stop loss. I'm also doubling my position down here again, just so you can see it. I would double up again at the 0.618 level to lower the average entry price so that I have as large a position as possible, which I'd like to carry into a recovery. At this point, if we look at it, the Bitcoin long is just under $25,000 in size and is currently $800 in profit. The Ethereum short is just a small one, currently a bit in profit, and we're entering that as well. And as for my Ethereum long position, you can see it's currently just under $5,000, but I'm ready to scale up if we go further down, so I can have a larger position in Ethereum as well. Because with Ethereum too, if we look at it here, and I'll open it up now, this setup worked perfectly. I hope you all somehow saw the last video I shared with you. Unfortunately, it got so few views. But in that video, I went through the Bitcoin and these Ethereum short positions with you and also explained why I placed them exactly here. So, what happened? I'm going to remove these yellow lines here again. There are quite a few of them after all. So that here, we have exactly the same setup as with Bitcoin. I have my long position down here. That was the entry point. Let me go back to the daily chart again. Here at the 0.618. But I'm also ready here right now. Then maybe you can see it a bit more clearly. Here's this short position that I just shared with you, which was triggered right on point yesterday. We can take another look at it on the hourly chart. You can see that the Fibonacci, and I can only recommend to everyone, check out my trading strategy videos where I explain this to you in detail. Once again, a wonderful sniper entry. We were very well in profit, had a small recovery again, but now we're heading back down. But with Ethereum as well, we have a CME gap here at around $3,483. But even here, I still see the possibility that we could go a bit further down. I know there are a lot of lines on the chart right now. I'll remove them for now. That way, you can see things a bit more clearly. My long position here, well, somehow I just have it there so you can see that this long position is in profit. I also need to quickly adjust the stop loss so you can see what I mean here. I'm going to move it down to 2,900 now just so I can adjust it because my stop loss level is roughly at, in this area, that's roughly my stop loss level. I can share that with you again. That means I'm trying once more to take advantage of the market with this long position. At the same time, I see exactly the same thing here that I showed you earlier with Bitcoin, that I'm saying, okay, we're trying here on the hourly and 4-hour charts to possibly build a bullish structure that could provide us with some support here or here so that we can then continue to move higher. My stop loss is already set at break even here. Then at the 0.618 level, I see the next possible point of rejection. Another correction downward and then a rise if we continue like this, of course. Of course, we also have good news at the moment. The US shutdown seems to be possibly coming to an end, and that would, of course, be very, very optimal. But that's exactly the big advantage right now. With my stop loss here, nothing can happen anymore. The position is in profit. I'm taking partial profits here. If we rise, my next position is waiting here at 0.681, where I want to do exactly the same thing again. While my long position is generating profits here, but keeps correcting downward, I want to catch the correction. I want to take advantage of every downward correction with this clean price action to generate some interim profits. What does that look like? Why do I say I want to realize the first partial profits from my short position at this yellow line? Again, it has nothing to do with anything other than my Fibonacci level. If I pull that in again, I'll quickly switch to the other chart so it doesn't get confusing with all the lines. Now we have this bullish price action here, and I'm simply using my Fibonacci level to find the next possible entry level. That could be the 0.5 here, 3,426. But if I say I go in here, I have an overlap of 0.5 and 0.786, as you can see in this area, which for me would be a very strong valid level to target. That's also the reason why I say I want to take partial profits from my position here. That's simply the reason I've set an alert here, and in any case, I will take partial profits here. And I've already set the stop loss to break even here so that this position is secured. Gap below us and then just continue the price action. Overall, I'm staying here and I'm still bullish here. Still, on the higher time frame, I can only tell you, Fibonacci, we're really taking such good profits here at times. We had a wonderful short here, then along with profits, then partial profits, take profit. Again, an incredibly good short, which also took profits again. Took a small stop loss here, but simply that Fibonacci works. If you're not on my channel yet, then I recommend you check out my Learn Trading Step-by-Step to Pro Trader playlist. There I explain everything in detail. Also the things I go through with you every time in the videos. If you follow me, you'll also see the live analyses and how I place them. Why I now also say I'm short and look for these entries, which are often sniper entries. Then you'll also learn how to analyze whale orders here. And that's also the next thing we're going to do now. For example, at $105,600, there are nearly $200 million waiting for a short position if we look at what's just above us right now. This position with almost $200 million that just came in directly above us could actually push us even further down, so that we finally close this gap below us in Bitcoin. And that would be important, the CME gap. Most of the time we go a bit further down than the CME gap, we'll see. But of course, I'm also ready here for my Fibonacci long position. So I say, okay, if we have a chance for a new good entry at the 0.5 or at the 0.681, then I would take advantage of that. I'm looking for overlaps because that was actually also a recent low. Are there any overlaps here anywhere? In this case, not really, which I actually like. But in this case, 103 and 102,000 are still extremely interesting to me for going long again on another exchange, because here I'm already long. So that's how things look at the moment. And basically nothing else changes either if we look back here at the liquidation heat map for the past 48 hours. We're basically doing, and you know, I follow liquidity, but we're really just doing liquidity hunting. We had a massive amount of short positions, they got taken out, and the price went down. Unfortunately, in this case, it just barely missed my 0.5 Fibonacci entry. That's just how it is because I had a wrong entry, or not really a wrong one. Mine was set a bit differently, the Fibonacci, a second one higher up. Sometimes it's just better to have no trade than to have a bad trade. Ethereum was triggered beautifully, and you can see very clearly here on the way down if you look into it. And basically, if we look in here now and check the last 3 days and last week, where do we still have liquidity below us that's interesting? Possibly at 101,000 US dollars. What did we say before? I think in these areas down here, yes, you can see here, 100 million are waiting at 99,000. But that changes regularly. Don't forget, these are data that are constantly being recalculated because people keep placing their long and short positions again and again. But these are the kinds of things we can factor into our trades. That's how things look at the moment, and honestly, I'm not doing anything more than that right now. I'm looking for the liquidity. Where is it heading? And I try to find great entries using my Fibonacci, And as you can see, over 2 weeks, I still see prices between 111,000 and 112,000 US dollars. What did we say earlier? For example, at 111,700, there are also 103 million US dollars. For example, that's very, very interesting to me because the whales have placed a 100 million US dollar short position here, where there's an incredible amount of liquidity on a 2-week basis. What's also interesting for me is that I go short right here as well. Where could that be again? Let's take a look. 111,000 to 112,000 US dollars. That's at the 0.786 Fibonacci level. Look, 112,394 US dollars. That's right here in this liquidity cluster. And also right here, just below the existing 100 million that's waiting for a short. That means for me, it's super interesting to place another short position exactly at this level. To catch another correction here, even if it's just a short-term correction, and hope that we then continue to rise so that this position gradually generates profit, but every correction recovers against profit. You can also see the 0.786. If we go in here, if I draw this, where is this level? Not an uninteresting level from the past. Let's take a look at this on the 4-hour chart. You can see it again there. You see, that's my point. Support, support. After that, twice, 3 times, 4 times resistance, then a very strong concentration zone. Again, very interesting here, another rejection here. That means for me, this exact 0.786 level will become super interesting again to open another short position. And otherwise, that's basically it for Bitcoin in summary. There's really nothing more to say at the moment. I have my long position, I've opened short positions, both are in profit. That's the optimal scenario you can have in a market like this. Having a short hedge in place, but also holding the long position, which is intended to be held for a longer period. Just a quick note. Since we're talking about Zcash, you remember I said that for me, Zcash is just rising too steeply. And in this case, it's now like this. With Zcash, you might remember when I said we have a target level for Zcash. That was exactly this level here, which we've now reached. We've even gone a little bit beyond it. And then live in a video, and I also adjusted it afterwards, I launched this short crit trading bot, which is now at nearly 50% profit. And I hope that this is now the bearish structure I'm speculating on. Where would this end up? These are price targets of roughly 323 to 271 or 222 US dollars. Why? I'm simply using the Fibonacci extension here again, where I say, if we actually continue to make lower lows and lower highs, then this right here is a possible price target. And accordingly, I will also close this short position at this yellow line here. When we reach this point, I've set an alert for myself. Then this position, which I currently have open with this short bot, will be about 150 to 200% in profit. And I will close it then. That would be almost perfect. I had to make one adjustment because it kept rising, but otherwise, what happened here was almost perfect. But we'll see. Zcash has already delivered a huge surprise, but in my opinion, this pump will eventually come to an end too. If you also want to use trading bots, check out the link in the video description. There you get a $50 bonus for signing up and a deposit bonus of up to $1,000, which you can then simply put into your grid trading bots or other bots without any risk. With that, I want to say thank you for watching. Give my video a like, maybe share it for a few more views. As you can see, I'm trying to bring you the best possible content here to look at the market neutrally, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.